What were we supposed to do now? I had read enough kids' adventure stories and Sherlock Holmes mysteries to know that there was a procedure to be followed in these circumstances. I knelt down and began to stare intently at the ground. "What are you doing?" Alison asked. "Looking for clues." Alison crouched down beside me. "What sort of clues?" "I don't know." I thought about mentioning footprints or fingerprints, but that seemed rather old-fashioned. Then I remembered something I'd seen on a TV show recently. "DNA," I said, with an air of confidence. "You always find DNA at a crime scene." "Okay." We both started to examine the area minutely, parting the very blades of grass with our fingertips. "What does DNA look like?" Alison asked. "Kind of slimy, I think." I didn't have the faintest idea what I was talking about. "Slimy and see-through?" "Well, I can't see anything like that." Alison was not as patient as me. Before long she was standing up again, looking around vaguely without any clear intention. I tutted and continued with my search. Perhaps I would find something else significant, a lost button or a fragment of torn clothing, or perhaps this was, after all, a complete waste of time, just part of some malicious joke on Alison's part, her revenge for the slap I'd given her last night, which she hadn't mentioned since, and for which I was yet to apologise. Soon she had wandered off altogether. I didn't know where she'd gone. I only knew that the wood had started to feel quieter than ever. Even the birds seemed to have stopped singing, and I couldn't hear a single car, even though the road was only a couple of 100 yards away. So when I heard the sound of a branch or twig snapping nearby, it was almost as if a gunshot had rung out. I jerked upright and looked around sharply in every direction, but there was no one there. "Alison?" I said. No answer. I stayed like that for a minute or two, still kneeling. The silence was absolute once again. Of course, it had only been some bird hopping from one spot to another, or perhaps a rabbit. We had seen one or two of those over the last few days, or Alison playing some tiresome game of hide-and-seek. There was no need to be jumpy about it. I would continue looking for clues. The second noise was louder than the first, and seemed to come from a point about 10 yards away to my left. Louder than just the snapping of a twig this time. It sounded unmistakably like a footstep in the undergrowth. At the same time I saw, or thought I saw, the shadowy movement of some object or figure in the bushes. A whisper of motion. Nothing more. Then everything was silent and still once again. Alison, it had to be. What was she playing at? "Alison!" I called. "Alison, where are you?" This was getting really annoying now, or rather, I was doing my best simply to find it annoying, while trying to ignore the way my heart had started to thump, and a sheen of sweat was breaking out on my brow. I rose to my feet, slowly and cautiously, feeling it important to make as little sound of my own as possible. I looked again towards the bushes, where I thought I had heard a sound and seen a fleeting movement. The temptation just to bolt